Okay, so it is World Cup time. Time to start prepping for World Cup. I apologize if the lighting is a little bit weird. And yes, I am having to do this upside down because my light decided just to turn off. So I had to make some adjustments and kind of roll with it. So we are where we are. So let's go ahead and we're going to start from the back, go to the tapes, go to the middle, and then talk about some possible bounce shots. Now remember that just like any other not playing critique, but every other layout first impressions, this is literally a first impression. I don't know if these shots are absolutely there or there could be more shots. I'm sure that there are more shots because once you get out on the field, you start realizing, oh wait, I might be able to go and shoot this or go and do that, so on and so forth. So take all of this with a grain of salt, but hopefully it helps you guys out with at least getting started. I do appreciate my members. Of course, you guys got this literally the night of. I had to start re-recording it because my mic decided to not connect anymore. So that was cool. So anyways, things I do for you guys. I did want to give a shout out to Transfuse as well. They are coming out with some new flavors, and they're actually adding some fiber in there as well. So it's going to be something that's real beneficial. And if you use Watch, Learn, Win, you get 10% off. So lots of new flavors, and those as of Friday, which would be the 28th, is when those are dropping. So you can head over to the website or check the link down in the description down below. So anyways, enough of that. So let's start with the back center. So the back center has shots onto its mirror. Now this giant brick is going to block out some shots, but the good thing with that is that means that you can maybe set up a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for people to see exactly what it is that you're maybe setting up to do. So you might be able to trick some people, and because it's an Aztec, you might be able to stand up over the top and get some of these same shots. So you can set up like you're going to go shooting snake side and then actually shoot Dorito. So just something to throw in there every so often. But yeah, so shooting, let's look at the snake first. So shooting over the top of this wing, you are going to be able to drop shots through here, but I'm not sure if they hug this, I'm not sure if it's going to drop enough. If you really skim it, it might, but this is something that you're going to want to figure out. So my snake players need to figure out what's the route. Like, can you go straight into the god? Do you need to take a deeper route, or do you just need to change it up a whole bunch so that it makes it so difficult that they can't figure out what to shoot? And then for my shooters, you need to figure out where over the top is going to be the best shot. And then if you need to pick it up, then you can always shoot that deeper shot. And then the same thing for here. This one is going to be, I think, pretty good just because this side slopes down. So it's going to slope this way towards the snake. So that's going to open up shots so that way you can shoot into the snake. So if they're trying to just run super hard into the snake off the break, you might have a chance of being able to catch them there. And then you do have some of these other shots into the snake 2 and 3 that maybe they overslide or their pack comes up a little bit. But I think if they're in there and they're good snake players, I'm pretty sure if they stay flat, you're not going to be able to shoot them unless you're closer. So that's something that you just want to keep in the back of your mind. But it's not bad if they dive into the snake and you were shooting this gap, just go ahead and shoot this, and you might be able to catch a pack or two, or I guess it would only be one because it'd be one player. Unless if they're sending 2 snake off the break, then more power to them. Shoot in the Dorito side, so they're able to, or you're able to shoot through into that gap and into this gap. It's going to be kind of threading the needle a little bit because you're kind of skimming past this tower. So that's going to make it a little bit more difficult of a shot. But if you practice it, you'll be able to get that of someone maybe trying to run deeper into the Dorito 1. And then if they try to run more shallow, you can shoot into this little Dorito. Or even if they're trying to go over to the Dorito corner, just watch how they're setting up and you might be able to pick up or lower your shot depending on how it is that they are setting up. Now, let's say that there's a player that runs to the Dorito 2 off the break. I'm going to consider this Dorito 1, 2, and 3, and then little Dorito. Dorito 2 off the break, you do have this gap from the home. Now, I'm not saying that you should be the one that's holding this gap, but at least you can do that until someone gets into a better spot to stop them from moving. So that is something that you want to just keep in the back of your mind. This little brick, I'm not a huge fan of it. I mean, there are shots. It's not, I don't want it to seem like there aren't shots. Like you can shoot the heads up. If you have a mirror, you can kind of tuck in and shoot into here. Also shoot into both sides of the god. And then over the top, if they are running deep, you can shoot into this spot. I think if they hug it though, this shot isn't going to work because the W is going to be there to block it. But them running into the snake, you might be able to catch them. So actually, I think I take that back. I think this could be a good bunker to utilize off the break to get that snake shot, or to have like kind of a dual attack to shoot that. But it's going to be tough also getting out wide enough to shoot in lane and then have people that can shoot back at you. So just something to try. Those inside shots. So if maybe you're pushing a player this way on this tower, you can throw paint over the top of that brick and catch them maybe slipping a little bit, but that's not a guaranteed shot. And then this gap would be something that maybe you have a code for their breaking out to the corner or something of that nature. You're able to shoot that, and then you do have some other gap shots. But I feel like the home and this brick are both going to be bunkers that you delay, shoot, or maybe you float, dive into, and then you are getting out of there. Like you're moving up the center, you're going out to the Dorito side, going up into this wing, you're doing something afterwards. I don't know how effective it's going to be to stay there. That's just my opinion right now. Going over to this tower. So this tower on the Dorito side, the inside shot isn't fantastic because you have that same outside shot as well. What I like with this tower, and this could be something good as a 2 spot, or something that maybe this home filters into once this Dorito player moves up, is the fact that you can shoot your heads up, and then you can also wrap and shoot into this brick. So same thing like with here, maybe because this bunker is smaller, if they shoot the heads up and it kind of pushes them over a little bit, you can pinch this player and throw paint that way, and it's going to be kind of blind. So they won't really know it's coming until... So maybe they are players that like to come up here and then dive across. You have that wrap shot to be able to shoot into that bunker. And then, of course, wrapping, you can shoot if there's someone, they're going to have to be hanging out, so they'll have to be playing sloppy, honestly, but you do have that shot maybe just to keep someone honest, possibly, but the heads up is going to be the one that you're going to be able to help more. This shot is not going to be as easy, though. So, because it's through the top of that point for that little Dorito into here, it's not going to be as great, I don't think. Maybe we get to the field and we see it's actually fantastic. All right, let's go over to the Dorito side. So with the Dorito side here, we have I was gonna say the snake corner. The Dorito corner doesn't look terrible. Now, I wouldn't use this to lock down the snake because it's so far of a shot, and there's other bunkers that can do it. But you do have that shot. So if you have a code where someone's putting someone in, it's going to be really difficult because it is so far, but it doesn't hurt to have someone throw paint through there if they're in that Dorito corner. Over the top, you can drop some into here. It might go a little bit too high. If they drop real low, they might be safe. But again, this is one of those surprise things. And then playing this wrap, if you follow the pink lines, you can see that there's a couple shots going in, and also you have some shots over the top that you might be able to drop through, of course, to your mirror, and then maybe catch someone trying to wrap, something of that nature. This Dorito, I'm not sure how effective it's gonna be. Right now, I'm not seeing it being super great. I mean, it looks like there's only 2 shots that are gonna be helpful. It's also in this same line, so it's not like you can get here and really help them on the tape. If this was outset more, that would be really helpful because then you can shoot the outside. But I'm not sure you're really going to be able to see a whole lot because if this guy in your mirror hugs it or goes to the inside, you're never going to be able to see them. So yeah, you have the shot to the can, and then you have a shot into the wing, but I'm not sure how effective that Dorito is going to be. This Dorito 2 looks better because you have the shot coming through into, you can see the purple lines here, the little Dorito, the tower, the little W, the can, the center, the home. So you have more that you can do. So if someone puts you in, you can kind of roll off and shoot at someone else, or go and try to help out another teammate that is needing assistance to kind of slingshot, or whatever it is that might be happening. So this, I think, is going to be better to get to. Now, if you can force them to go into this Dorito one and trap them there, because I think there's going to be some spots that you can do that from, that's going to be a lot more beneficial to your team, because then they can't do anything. They're a wasted player. Whereas when they get to the Dorito 2, they can start to do a little bit more damage. It's a little bit more heads up of shots, but they are able to kind of keep that pressure, and it's not too far of a jump into the Dorito 3, so that makes it more difficult. I did split this one up. I know I went to the little Dorito and went back. Sorry, that one black line. My son said, Dad, take the black one. I was like, okay. And then I saw that it was terrible, so I snuck over the green one. But yeah, this over the top shot is gonna be, I don't know if it's gonna be too high. If they're standing up, then you'll probably be able to clip them, but over the top is gonna be difficult. Now, the wrapping shot isn't horrendous. Like, you can shoot through into that gap, and you can roll off a little bit. Like, if you roll off a little, you can still shoot into this gap. So if someone matched you here, or they matched you, I'm sorry, they went into the tower, then you have that shot. If they put you in, you can roll off. You know that they probably want to get into here, or they want to match you in the little Dorito. Well, at least you know that they're in this section, or at least you know that you saw them or you shot them going out into these other bunkers. Over the top, you do have that shot to that tower, and yeah, like I said, the can shot. Now, it gets, of course, better in the Dorito 3. Usually, as you get closer, it's going to be better shots. That's just kind of the way that that paintball works. But yeah, so this Dorito 3, you can shoot into the center. Now, the thing with this center is I think good center players are going to be able to move around and get deadly. So they're going to be able to come back and still pop up and shoot different shots, or stand up, shoot up over the top, and then crawl over real quick and shoot another shot. If they move around, it's going to make it difficult, but you might be able to get in and catch someone off guard here. All of these, I believe you should be able to get on the wrap as well, because this is a little bit higher on the Dorito. So into that tower, into the can, you can shoot into the snake side, which is really helpful, especially with this wing. I think this wing is going to be able to hang out a little bit and shoot down the tape for the snake. Actually, they wouldn't even need to, because they can just shoot straight down this line. It's going to make it really difficult for players to get down the snake if there's someone here. So your Dorito side can actually get up into here and maybe clip them in the pack, or force them to have to push up so much that they're going to lose their shot, and that allows your snake to move up. But yeah, so this Dorito 3 shots get a lot better. And then, of course, once you get to that 50 brick, you can, remember, you can come up over the top, pop the top. You can, I wouldn't do it constantly, but you do have that shot. So if someone's putting you in, just back up, and you can get the same shot in a lot of different sections here. But this inside, you can come over and shoot into the wing, into the tower. You can wrap, shoot better shots into that snake corner. Shooting through here, I think is going to might be tough, but you might actually be able to kind of sneak out and thread the needle through there and drop it into that tower. So that could be something to at least throw some people off, and could be beneficial for you. All right, let's go over to snake side. So it's going to get a little bit busy. So this snake corner, like I said, you have that shot down the tape. We know that. Same thing when we get into the snake. All of them have that shot down the tape. So I'm not going to have just a really gross looking line of the same line. But the inside shot here, you at least would be able to see if they moved. There is this drop shot that you might be able to catch someone, but you're threading the needle and it's a blind. So this isn't going to be like guaranteed shot. Could be something that you throw every once in a while if you wanted to, and they're not further up on the Dorito side. But once they're up there, yeah, that's going to be kind of useless. But the inside shot, again, if someone calls for help and they're in this Dorito, you can at least throw paint through here and maybe catch someone making a move, or see that they did make the move or they did not make the move. So that's something that you guys definitely want to make sure that you incorporate. The God bunker here has some inside shots. I mean, there's that gap. So just for my Dorito players, this move, you have a couple guys you need to check off, but you need to go full force into there. It's not going to be one that you kind of just like waltz into the Dorito 3. This outside of the God, I think you're going to be able to drop it over the top. Now, it might be a little bit blind because of this W, but you might be able to stand up a little because it is an Aztec, and shoot up over the top to drop it to the tape. So if someone's trying to crawl around, it might be something that's helpful. And then wrapping, you can shoot into here. So let's say that they stopped at this brick. you can at least come over here and wrap and shoot through this gap and make sure that they never make it out wide, or it forces them to have to go super deep into the corner or something, and then you can just trap that guy there. So just some options for that. When you actually get into the snake, and I apologize for this being super messy, but the brown lines here from the Snake 1, you do have some shots. I mean, they're not fantastic. You know, wrapping, I don't see a reason to stop at the Snake 1. It doesn't seem like there's shots that are like, oh no, you need to get here and immediately shoot this one shot. I think it's probably going to be dive in and just check off paint. If you have to stop because they're just pounding through here, like maybe they have a taller guy that can drop shots a little bit better, or you just don't feel like you can get underneath it, yeah, you have an inside shot here. You can maybe help keep the Dorito side from bumping out. Coming over the top to shoot into some of these other guys. You have some options. And then once you get into the Snake 2, through here you do have a gap. I wouldn't stay on it personally, but I don't see a reason to do that, just because if someone gets here and you just got into the snake, it might need to be that your Dorito side needs to just go and bunker out the player that's probably moving up to that brick. But we'll see how it all breaks down this weekend. And then the inside shots aren't terrible, but they're not amazing. You know, so my snake players, I really think it just needs to be get all the way down. Like you can see how many more shots you get as you continually move down the snake. So you get to the Snake 3. I'm going to call this Snake 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So the blue lines are going to start getting some more shots, especially once you start angling them in more. That makes it a lot more deadly of a bunker. Same thing once you get to this Snake 3. So if there's a snake and you're in the center, you might need to, I don't know, someone might need to help you get out of there, or you just need to start living by your gun, because once they get here, they literally just pop up and just shoot straight across. So it's going to be difficult to stay alive in the center when they get into your Snake 3 or Snake 4. And then they do have some good shots going in, and then once you get to their side, just like any other field, you're going to start getting a lot of really good shots. So my snake players, I would look to see how far can you really go. The guys that are going to be able to run over and maybe bunker you would have to come from like this wing or in the snake itself. But if you can come up, shoot 1 or 2, and then trade with that guy, you did your job. Even if the person from the God is trying to run you down, all of this is all low-lying, and there's not a lot in the center that's blocking out those shots. So this run would be super difficult to make clean, that is. There's going to be some guys that will probably just run through and just try to force it, but that's just how some players like to operate. All right, let's start going into the center here. So from this little W, it's not terrible, but again, it's one of those that you could use as like a delay to get up to something. I really like this tower and this wing. Both of these are fantastic. I think that it's going to be helpful because then you can filter up. You can even move back if you wanted to. You have a lot of stuff that's blocking you out, and you can help on both sides. So let's, I guess, go from Dorito side over. So the tower, once you get in here, you do have these shots into, and this is what I mean, like you're going to have a lot more control into this gap when you're closer, because even if they put you in and try to dive, if you roll off real quick and just throw paint through there, you could probably catch them. Same thing with, it's a little bit further, but not by a whole lot. So if you're shooting this heads up, and for them to have to get out of this little Dorito and dive into the Dorito or try to back up, you have time to roll off a little bit, and it's a tower, so you're standing up, you're going to be a lot more comfortable. They're having to go from a crouch position. And then if you wrap, you have the can and you have the home. The inside shot, this one, and because it's a tower, you can stand up and drop over the top of that brick into this other wing, and then over the top into this section here, so you can help out the snake side a little bit. If someone says, hey, can you take over this gap, then you can at least help out with that. The can could be actually good for coming up for someone that's like a good center player, coming up, delaying, coming up into the can or going straight to the can, and then they can filter either way and help out, or make it where the team doesn't know what direction you're going to go, and then eventually filter up into here. You know, you have a couple options. But the wing here, you have the shot going into the snake, so you have that, and then you have the shot going into the God. I think that this is going to help you with something in the center that I think is going to be really deadly for the snake players if they're not already in the snake. And then over the top, you do have some drop shots, especially with this guy. I think that this shot should be relatively good because they have to crouch, which means that they're lower position, and then you can just try to drop it in. The can could be a good shot, but if they play the outside of it, they're probably going to be okay. If they play the outside of here, it might push them into another gun this way. So if you can get the elimination, then fantastic. But yeah, then you have these gaps here as well. So if someone is trying to come through here, you can always come up into this wing, shoot through here, and just be pumping paint, and they will never make it into that 3 because they have to commit the whole way across. If you stay low, you have a big wing standing up, you have a brick. If they try to shoot here, it's just going to hit that. They have to wrap and full commit across. I don't know if it's going to be close enough to bait them though. I think that shot is going to be too far. So just a heads up. So like if you're pumping that and you stop and they go through it, or you're trying to bait someone, I don't know that it's going to be close enough that even if you have great reaction times, it's just a matter of physics. The ball isn't going to be able to get there in time, at least in my opinion. But that leads into the very, very center of the field here. So we'll go from snake side over this time. So this little brick, I don't really see being used. I don't know how effective it's going to be, other than getting here, trying to get here first, I guess, and then just pumping this gap. But it's a very tiny brick. It's not going to be necessarily easy to like sit in here and stay alive. But you do have some options. So I guess if you wanted to throw off a team and you dove across into here, they're going to be like, what are you doing? And if you just start pumping through these gaps, you might be able to catch some people on the snake. But then the issue is that really the only option you have is to come up this way. So you'd have to clear out the snake, or maybe I guess take a risk and hop over and then crawl down, but that's a big gap. So, and nothing blocking you out here. So I'm not sure that one's going to be super helpful for players. And then we have the center. So I think that this center will be good. It's very reminiscent of the wall, the old school big W or win bunker. Shooting through here, I think that this will be close enough that you can bait players through here. You're going to be able to stay tight, and by the time that they launch, they have to full commit. So they have to go across and get past this gap. If you're real low, even with this slanted, unless they stand real tall, but even then, I think if you're laying down, you might be able to bait them as they try to go into the snake. You can also shoot the just past that slanted section into that God bunker, and that'll stop them from making moves. So maybe you're shooting this heads up and you see that they're committing, you can just roll off and shoot into here and cause issues. If you're tall enough, this is where it's going to be a little bit difficult. The really tall players, like I can sort of stand over bricks, but this wouldn't be something that would be very often that I'm standing up over the top to shoot that. But if you're a taller player, know that you are going to be kind of like the old school W, where you can shoot through some of the different gaps and do that stuff. Then we have the other side, and again, like I said, being able to move back and forth, and because you have these inside shots, you could maybe even come back, shoot up over the top, and then crawl back and then try to bait them, or you shoot over on one side and then crawl over to help, or you vice versa, whatever the case may be. This guy coming here, the issue is that if you're super tucked in, your shot has to be really, really good, but you do have that bait shot. They can wrap and put paint on you though. That is one of the downsides with this one. With the snake, when they come across here and they go to wrap, they're not necessarily seeing if you're there. It's going to be one of those that they're throwing paint through here, but I think because they're going to have to sit it a little bit higher because of that slant, that you might be able to be alive. You guys will have to test that out and tell me what you think too. But from here, it's almost like let them get into here, we'll get into here and just post up and just don't say a word and wait for them to go across. The really impatient players are going to have issues where they just want to dive and you'll just smoke them as they come through. And then you can also pump this gap. So you can help out with, if someone does go into this corner and you're here, well, you can stop them from making any move past here. They'd have to come through to commit to come and bunker you. And the good thing is that if they go around this way and you're really tucked in, maybe someone on snake side can shoot them first, or if they come around this way, same thing on either side. Whatever side it is that you're on, then you're almost guaranteed a trade because they're going to be running into your gun. This other little brick, I'm not sure. it's better than this one for sure. So this could be an option for if you go here and then instead of diving across, you come up into here just to do something different. But you do have some gap shots. You do have some shots coming through here. I did the dotted or dashes just because you sort of have a shot into this brick in that same line. So maybe kill this, the can, and then you're able to shoot someone here. But then you do have those gaps there as well. But of course, coming to their side, if you can come up into their tower or their W, that's going to be super helpful, because then you can really start just like coming through and just wrecking house. Okay, so let's talk about bounce shots. I'm not even sure where my timing is at right now, so I apologize if this is super long, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Thanks again to Transfuse for the support, and thanks to Die. Actually, if you guys haven't seen that live stream, super awesome. Took a lot of care of me, and yeah, so you should check that out. So I'll be rocking the DSR Plus at World Cup, and we'll see what happens after that, I guess. But I wasn't sure how many bounce shots there were going to be on here until I started going around. I think that there's going to be a decent amount. So if you can find some ones that are useful, there's some on here that for sure won't work. And again, just like any other time that we talk about these, go out and try them. It might bounce too far back, or it might bounce into the bunker. There's possibilities of things that just it looks like the angle might work out. So we'll go snake side over. So from this god, so these brown lines, if you bounce it off the other god on the inside, I think it might skip into there. It might need to be more of like the corner section so that it skips more at an angle this way, because if you hit it more on the side, it's going to kind of skim and come over more back here. If you are on either side, I think you have a shot going off this brick into the home. So if they're stuck at the home and you're at the god, and maybe you're trying to help out, like you're throwing some over the top or something, or I don't know, and then you just wanted to throw something different that might skip right into them, it's a possibility. If there's a center, I think that this pin is going to be an issue. So this pin off here, and actually this brick might be able to step out and shoot this shot as well. But if you start hearing this getting shot, that's when you might want to back up and stand up, or really push into the bunker, or just lay down. I don't know. I don't know what it is that is going to stop that, or maybe the bounce doesn't work at all. Maybe it's too close. There's always that chance. Speaking of too close, this one probably is too close, but I think the angle would work out. Shooting from the wing to the other wing, bounces into the can. From this center bunker, I think you might be able to bounce it off the snake one, and if it's not going to bounce into like the tape side, it might just bounce enough that if they're trying to go deeper or something, just something different to throw at that, instead of just shooting, like maybe they push you off a little bit, or maybe they're trying to wrap or something and you don't have that shot, you can bounce that and might go in. I would rather just shoot them heads up, but what I'm saying is maybe they're shooting heads up and wrapping on someone over here. Your teammate yells over that they're wrapping, you can roll off and start shooting this bounce, and I think it might go in. I guess I'll go backside of the Dorito up. So from this this tower, I think off this little brick here, we'll skip into, now with how large this brick is, it might bounce right into the bunker. But maybe it forces them at least to the outside, so they don't have an inside shot, so you're cutting down on what they can do. And then the wrap shot here, bouncing and going into the center as well. Again, maybe it skips too far back, but regardless, in the center, if you start hearing these getting shot, you really need to watch the paint and just know where it is that you're safe. Because if you show too much, then you're probably going to get eliminated. From this little W, I think you might be able to bounce off this Dorito 3 and it'll skip up a little bit. So if they're trying to wrap and maybe they put you in a little bit, you can you can roll off, shoot the like more the bottom section of the Dorito, so it bounces up a little and it might catch them. From this Dorito, if you bounce off this tower, I think it might skip in into that home, and then if you wrap off this can, it might actually skip into the god. So that is a possibility. Again, it's not 100%, but it is something. And then we have the tower here. This is probably too close, but it's worth a shot, where if they're in this can and from either side you bounce off your mirror, it might skip in. From the center as well, you might be able to bounce off and get that same shot. It might be too hard of a bounce in, but it is a possibility. But yeah, so tell me what you guys think. What is it that you think about the layout here? What is it that you think is going to be the winning side? Anything like that. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you again to my members. That's why you guys get this stuff early. For everyone else, I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And if you're going to be at World Cup, please make sure that you say hi. And I'm definitely going to be doing some giveaways, so you want to make sure that you stay tuned. Click the bell if you haven't already. And as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.